Hey everyone, it's August 3rd, 2011, and this will be my second video update since my relapse, which was, what, a week ago? A little more than a week ago. Um, as you can see, I am not in the hospital. I'm actually at my parents' house, recovering from the chemotherapy treatments. All my counts are zeroed out. White blood cells, platelets are, I've got some platelets because I got some this morning. Um, but I'm feeling pretty down right now. Diet isn't all that great. I think I only lost like 10 pounds in the last week, which is actually pretty good for me. I felt like I ate a lot, but apparently not enough. So I'm down to like 175. Continue to watch that. Yeah. So it's good to be out. Trying to get enough sleep and rest and all that good stuff. So I know I talked on my last video or blog or something about how there were my blood test came back with 50% leukemic blasts, which means there's 50% of the cells in my blood were cancerous. At that time, I also wanted to do a bone marrow biopsy, and my primary oncologist he didn't think it was necessary. He's like, well, we know you've got cancer, so we know you need chemo. The biopsy is moot. I disagreed with him. I said, I don't think it's moot. I think it's, any amount of data that we can gather that'll increase my odds, if even by 1,000th of 1%. Hey, that's 1,000th of 1% that I didn't have before that I have now. So what I wanted was a baseline, where we're starting, we'll do the chemo, and where we end up. So they finally agreed to it, and I got the bone marrow biopsy, and that came back with 94% cancerous cells in the bone marrow. So that's why I had such terrible chest pain, and I felt like I was having a heart attack. My heart was going like 160, 170 beats per minute, because my bone marrow, which is in my lower back, that's why my lower back has been killing me over the last week or two. Your sternum, there's a lot of bone marrow in your sternum, and there's some in your skull behind, it's all over the place, but those were that's out of focus. Come on back. Okay. But yeah, so that's why I was having so much pain. Recent blood tests show that the number of cancerous cells in my blood are going down. So that's good. So I think actually there was one blood test that came back with 0%, but that was just the blood. It's a lot easier for the chemotherapy to kill the cancer in the blood because it's right out there in the blood. It's the bone marrow that's the gotcha. That's the trick. We need to get to the bone marrow. And I won't know how well we did, how well the chemo did on the bone marrow for like another 2 or 3 weeks. What they do is called the day 28 bone marrow. 28 days after the first day of chemotherapy, they do a bone marrow biopsy to see, if you got all the chemo, if you got all the cancer, if you got some of the cancer, if you got none of it. You might actually have more cancer than you had before. And like I said in my last blog, what they choose to do will depend heavily on that bone marrow biopsy. I think regardless, no matter what happens, what the results say, I'm going to be getting more chemo. The first scenario would be I've got more cancer than I had before I started, and they're going to need to give me more chemo, possibly radiation. The second scenario would be they got some, they might have got a lot, but they didn't get all of it, so they gotta finish it and probably just repeat what we just did. And the third scenario would be that I'm in remission, but we're looking for a permanent solution. Remission for me doesn't mean cure, not even close. I've been through this 5 times now. This is the 5th time. and it keeps coming back. So we gotta do something to something pretty high risk, probably, you know, like I said before, high risk, high reward, which will be probably chemo, total body irradiation, and this is just my guess, and a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor. And that'll knock me out for a real loop. I'll probably be off work for a while, and you know, they say I'll be out of it for. I mean, my first stem cell transplant, they said I'd be out, you know, feeling like crap for a year, but you know, I've kind of proved those odds wrong anyway. But I'm doing good. I think I'm here. The sun is shining. Wind is blowing. Life is good. So, with that, I just, you know, wanted to thank all of you out there for all of your support, your emails, your Facebook messages, your letters, cards. Carrie thanks you too. You guys have been a rock for us. And I've got to say, I've probably got one of the best support systems anyone could ever ask for. So thank you all. Love you all, and have a great rest of the day. See ya.